Okay, so welcome to this free workshop titled Unlimited Impact with Your Coaching. So this is going to be focused on how to facilitate a group breakthrough with your coaching for a large audience in a 1-hour webinar with no limit to how many attendees you can serve. And so it sounds like a big promise, and the interesting thing is I stumbled upon this. I wasn't just sitting there thinking of like how to solve problems I was, in the coaching industry. It was just that I stumbled upon this by having a conversation with a loved one. This was my mother actually, and she was having a tough week. She just had 2 surgeries on her hands, and we were just talking about different personal growth. We were just talking about different therapy themes, and I wanted to share a tool with her, a subconscious clearing tool that's helped me, continues to help me every week, and she's received benefits from it as well. So I thought, okay, let's schedule a one-on-one call. I'll take you through the process. And then I started thinking of friends and family who could also benefit from it as well, because for whatever reason, this was the first week in April, by the way, for whatever reason, people were having a tough week. So I was like, well, with my aunt and dad and so, I'll have these one-on-one calls. Pretty soon I realized I'm not going to have any other time. Like, I'm going to be stacked. So I thought, well, what if I could just do a group webinar and share this tool with them? And I had done a group subconscious clearing before in person a few times, and I was like, you know what? I can see the certain tweaks that need to be made to do it online. And I did that. And I was kind of holding my breath, but I figured I could do it. And it worked out well. And there, lo and behold, people were having transformation. They were having shifts. It was all in a 1-hour webinar. It was unique to them. And we went off to the races. And so that whole week of April, people started inviting their friends, their family, their team, their clients, on and on and on. So that's where this thing naturally unfolded, where, wow, this is able to give a group breakthrough to many different people, and it's all unique to exactly what they need in the moment. So I started talking to my friends about it, and they were just like, oh, that's incredible. Like, can I do that? And I said, I don't know. Let's hop on a one-on-one call and let's see. Let's talk through your method and see. And to my surprise, like clockwork, we found their structure underneath an hour. So then word started getting out with that, and then pretty soon my calendar started filling up with people wanting one-on-one calls to figure out their unlimited impact webinar. And that's where we are today, is where I want to share it with everybody, because I feel like the coaching industry needs this. So let me know if that resonates with you. Let me know if that connects with you and feels like a good focus of your time here today, because we'll jump in. All right, awesome. Larry says yes. So let's jump on in. Okay. So this is the structure that we're going to go through today, so you know exactly what we're going through. Number 1, we're going to go through the 3 problems. Thumbs up from Mike Ray. There we go. We're going to, number 1, go through the 3 problems with our coaching. And I say our because I group that in us. I do not come today as a perfect person preaching upon the hilltop. I do not come as a person who has all the answers. I come as a fellow comrade on the journey in sharing the latest developments of this cutting edge thing that's been unfolding. So we'll go through the 3 problems. We'll go through the 3 solutions with the Unlimited Impact webinar. Then we'll dive into the structure here today, the 1-hour Unlimited Impact webinar structure, so you can see exactly how it works. And that's where we'll workshop it together of how you can get clearer and clearer and clearer on your webinar structure to take your coaching method out to more and more people. And the reason why I keep saying your coaching method, because this isn't meant to be a clone of me. Everybody has their own unique method. It's about taking what you already know and what you already do and how you already facilitate with your clients and tweaking it in a way for the unlimited impact. And step 4, we'll go into the partner program. Because as I was doing this, as people were getting their unlimited webinar structure, and they were able to see like, wow, I can reach so many more people and I can still do it in just an hour. They're like, well, I could do 1 hour a week. That's easy, that's simple. And then the people that are around me, they're like, they knew that I'm a systems person, that's where my heart is. And they're like, well, I don't want to set up the system. Can you just set up the system so that I can show up and be the star and shine? I said, well, I wasn't really thinking about that, but let me think about it. So from there, that's when a partner program came where we could join forces together. So we'll touch on that, and then we'll bring it home with some bonus Q&A time at the end. Okay? All right. Looks like Courtney knows Larry, so there's a connection there. Courtney, we saw a brief flash. Nice to see you briefly. And also throughout this too, this is very conversational. Like a part of myself dies inside when I see a presentation where it's just one way talking to people. It's just a part of me dies. So how I view this is collaborative. It's conversational. Let me know in the chat what's going on, what thought process, because I really believe that together we are way more than one person, and that includes me. So I'm your host, Sebastian Cruz. Just some 3 things for me. I just have a knack for simplifying things with systems. So I did that with my journey with my agency business. I went from 100 hours a week to 1 hour a week. That has given me 10 years of self-made passive income. And why that's important to me is because it allows me to follow my passion and do what I really want to do and serve the people I really want to serve. And that helped me discover my life mission at 24. So the focus of my life, the focus of this company, True Freedom, is to help free 1 billion people by 2050. So everything is aligned with that goal, because I believe that true freedom is creating wealth with what you love to do and the schedule that lights you up. So everything is focused on that North Star. Yes, Larry's like, yes, 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 exactly. So if you're a purpose-driven entrepreneur, you're in the right place. If you're an entrepreneur that says purpose, passion, that doesn't matter, let me just focus on the money, you're in the wrong place if that's you. I don't think that's anybody here, but if it is, this ain't your zone. This is about passion, purpose, and prosperity all weaving together. All weaving together, okay? So that's where the software company is coming together to help people create true freedom on a personal level, on a team level, and now on a webinar marketplace type level, so they can get the breakthroughs, the coaching consistently. Okay? So let's see here. Let's first touch on the 3. Let's see. Oh, I think this is the wrong slide, so let me just touch here. Okay. Let me just pause here. So it says the 3 solutions here, but it's actually the 3 problems. So thank you for bearing with me. And then I'll pop this right here. So these are the 3 problems that I've found within the coaching industry. And so let me know which one that you've encountered. And we'll dive in here right now. Okay, so problem numero 1. Number 1, one-on-one calls fill your schedule. So if you've ever experienced this before, let me know. Where you love your clients, you love the transformation that you facilitate with them, but you're like, oh my God, it's going to take a lot to get through the week. And of course, that puts a ceiling on the income and also the impact that we can deliver. So I have this fun little meme here, because sometimes it feels like that, you know, trying to make it through the week. And again, you absolutely love your clients, you feel blessed with what you do, you're able to have an amazing life that's way different than the rest, and at the same time, it's getting pretty busy. Okay, so if you can resonate with that, I see some laughing faces here, let me know. Okay, and number 2, the never-ending group Q&A calls. Again, you love your clients, and maybe you've gotten them now in a group. Could be low ticket, could be high ticket. And so you're meeting with them once a month, once a week, every other couple weeks, and you're having this group Q&A call. But it's never ending. Hour 1, hour 2, sometimes hour 3. That type of thing that it limits the scale. So have this classic Ned Stark, brace yourself. A Zoom call will never end. If you've ever felt like that, let me know. And there's 2 ways with this. There's being the coach through this, where you want to serve everybody, you want to help everybody, you know that personal connection, but at the same time, you can only have so many people. And on the other side of the spectrum, if you've ever been part of a group call where you're like, okay, I have my question. I'm showing up on time. I'm ready to go. And you're like, oh boy, it's 45 minutes in and I haven't gotten my question answered yet. Or somebody goes and for whatever reason, they never stop talking. You know, it's like as a student, you're like, I love that person. It's amazing. And did it need to take 15 minutes to ask that question? These are all things that come up. And that balance as a coach, as a facilitator of being like, okay, how do we make sure that everybody is seen, heard, and coached while at the same time keeping people on time? Okay. So if you've ever felt that on either the coach side or the student side, let me know. And the third problem is just that balance of like, you can get results with your one-on-one clients. You know it. Time in, time out. You do it in your sleep. You show up and you channel through what they need to hear. But then it's like, it gets a little sticky the bigger the group goes. And there's different like milestones, you know, group of 5, group of 10, group of 25, group of 50, group of 100. And there's different milestones to make sure they're getting the results. And so if you feel like your client's results are still largely based on your time, then this is the problem that it solves. And this is one of the dark secrets of the coaching industry. I mean, dark is a bit harsh, but it's this underside of like, oh man, you want to help, you want to grow your impact, you want to grow your income, grow your message. But at the same time, it's like, whoa, where'd the time go? Okay, so this solves each of these. And I'll show you how. Okay. So the 3 solutions within Unlimited Impact Webinar is number 1, it's a 1-hour webinar for everyone. 1-hour webinar for everyone. So your clients all get a unique and relevant coaching experience all at once. So think, just like very similar to being in a one-on-one session, you're getting the breakthrough. So let's have this funny, drunk baby meme. 1-hour webinar sounds like happy hour to me. But yeah, that's the thing too. It's like when wow, you get to impact so many people with that 1 hour, it starts to become fun again. Start to be rejuvenated. Just be like, wow, the creativity unlocks of like, how can I just add more creativity, more love to this experience so that it's just so charged up for everybody involved? Because you're super leveraged with your time. And number 2, personalized breakthroughs. So I've said this a few times because, I don't know if I'm being clear with the words, and I just want to make sure it's clear. It's like, that's the magic that's been happening. It's like people are each coming to the webinar with needing something, just like a coaching call. And you're never going to know exactly what it is. Yet everybody gets that breakthrough at the same time. So your clients receive breakthroughs like in a one-on-one, yet in a group. Okay. And this is the difference to me than say one presentation where it's just saying the same message to everybody. Okay. Yeah, people will pull different things from it, but it's largely just the same message. This type of breakthrough model allows people to break through what they were feeling stuck on. So you start feeling like Oprah, in that classic meme, you get a breakthrough, you get a breakthrough, you get a breakthrough, you get a breakthrough. And just like she was getting out cars, you're just slanging those breakthroughs to that audience. Okay. And then the third one is we get to leverage group flow state. And this is the cutting edge research that's happening right now. Like with flow state, there's a ton of research that's established. So one of the quotes that I love to share with people, according to Forbes, top executives report being 5 times more productive when in flow state. Top executives report being 5 times more productive when in flow state. And that is a 10-year study that was done. So this is in Forbes. So it's very well established, the power of flow state, where your unconscious mind merges with your conscious mind and you do your best work. Just like for athletes, we all know when an athlete gets in the zone, they're draining buckets, they're crossing over people like in basketball, and they're just flowing and they're having fun. So with group flow state, that is the cutting edge right now of research. And so, for example, like what happens with the Navy SEALs, where there's a group mind effect, where their subconscious minds merge and sync, and they act as one, even though they're multiple people. And we've all felt this before. We've all felt being part of a powerful group where, and you just let me know. Have you ever been part of a powerful group where it felt like you were working as one? Like it brings me back to high school football days. One of the phrases we use is one team, one mind, one goal, all syncing together. And so with the group flow state, that's what, here, I'm just making sure I'm getting my video there, just a little activity. There we go. Okay, so with group flow state, your clients' results are multiplied because of community and collaboration. So it's like this classic Morpheus line. What if I told you you're not alone? What if I told you you're not alone? And I realized there's a typo in that meme. So, the person who did the meme can't spell. But yeah, so there's things that come in when you hear somebody else's question where it's like, oh, wow, I'm not alone. Somebody else is going through it. That's powerful in itself. Number two, somebody asks a question where you hadn't thought about it like that. It's like, wow, I hadn't thought about it like that, but that's a good point. Or number three, it helps to hear it again, what you've already come through, but now you're re-hearing it again so you can have mastery with it. So these are the three solutions that I found with the Unlimited Impact webinar. So let me know in the chat which one is the most appealing to you. Which one excites you the most? Number 1, 2, or 3? Number 1, 2, or 3. Which one is the most interesting to you? Is it that it's all in 1 hour? Is it that it's the personalized breakthroughs? Or is it the leveraging group flow state? Let me know in the chat. Which one's most exciting to you? And I'm chilling here. I'll wait. You let me know. This is collaborative. Collaborative. Which one out of 1, 2, or 3 is the most exciting to you? Oops. All right. Start calling on people. So Larry, which one did you say? 1, 2, or 3? Which one's most exciting for you? Let me know in the chat. Or Courtney. What would you say? 1, 2, or 3? What's most exciting to you?
I said number 3. I was cooking, so yes.
Oh, okay. Wow,
No, I didn't hear the last part of 3, but I'm on a Zoom call, honey.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad you said that because the chat wasn't showing up for me. So I see that everybody put their thing here, but I was like, wow, it's a tough crowd out here tonight. But yeah, so thank you for sharing that. So 3 was most exciting for you, like group flow state, right?
Cookie for Nana.
Okay, awesome.
It's out there, honey.
Larry said group flow state as well. Michael Gray said group flow state. Awesome. Christina said 2, personalized breakthroughs. Wonderful. Yeah, so let's really focus on that of the community type effect. Okay, so thank you for sharing, everybody. And I'll have my chat somehow show me when people chat next. All right, so here's the 3 results with the Unlimited Impact webinar. Number 1, more impact. Number 2, more income. Number 3, more freedom. So it's basically what we've been saying, but just to be super clear with this. And yeah, Larry, you shared Napoleon Hill and the principle of the mastermind. So absolutely with the group flow state. And oh wow, I'm just seeing all these chats now that I didn't see before. So Michael Gray said, as coaches, we always teach that time is your most valuable commodity, but it's equally valuable for us. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't know about you guys, but one of the messages that's been really central to me in the last month is that we can't give from an empty cup. We can't give from an empty cup. So that's just been a reflection of mine. It's like, oh man, I got to fill up my cup, give myself the personal time, and then I have more to share with others. Okay. Wonderful. So, who's ready to dive into the 1 hour unlimited impact webinar structure? We're going to get into the nuts and bolts, and let me just check the time here. Yeah, we're doing good on time. So, here's I'm going to first share three sections to this 1 hour. Okay, and this is very practical, very tangible, very implementable. Okay, so number one, 3 sections. The first section that we found is the first 20 minutes being the message of the week. The message of the week. So this 3 parts, the 3 sections, will allow you to stay within the 1 hour. So the message of the week, what I've found is that as a coach, as a guide, as a leader, that I found myself repeating the same story or the same lesson a few times throughout the week. And for whatever reason, there was something in the air that week. And maybe it's something I read recently, or maybe it's something I read a long time ago, but it was just a certain lesson that was top of mind. Sometimes I'm going through it as well, and then I'd share it with others. And as I shared that with just friends, I found that just coaches, leaders, we tend to have a message of the week. And before this, I would just be able to share my message of the week, with the people around me, team, family, friends, whatever would come up. But that value was limited. And I think as we all know, like, as we give out more into the world, it finds a way of coming back. So if the message is already within me, the message is already within you, it's just like opening the door for that to go out. And that's what I found with this Unlimited Impact webinar, is I was like, oh, instead of just the circle around me, now it gets to come out through the webinar. And to my surprise, as I started doing this, the feedback I got from people was incredible. The feedback I got was, oh wow, like how'd you know I was going through this week? Wow, or I hear, this is just perfect timing. I was thinking of the same thing. So what I found out as like a community creator, as a community leader, like we're going through similar things together. And so for me to voice it and share it, it resonated with people way more than I could even dreamed of. And this is a simple thing. Like the things in this webinar, I've worked so hard to simplify. And that's the power of it. Because one of the things that I got feedback from friends or questions is they'd say, well, I want my webinar. And before they knew the structure, they'd say, well, I need to plan out my whole content schedule. I need to know every week of content for this month, next month, through the whole year. And then even I have multiple years of content. And then what year I want to do here and what year I do want that. And I was like, whoa, my God. Like, as you can imagine, that's it's overwhelming. I feel overwhelming with that. And then how do you architect that for one person, let alone multiple people? So that was one of the big issues that people had come into. And then what I found through this just naturally unfolding is that it solved that. Because again, I didn't think of this just like, I wasn't sitting there brainstorming one day. It was just, I shared the love on a webinar, and that's how I felt. I was like, well, this is where the love wants to flow. Let's just let it go. And then next week I add a little something. Then next week, and these are all things just naturally unfolded. So the message of the week is a core piece, and I believe it's naturally simple and easy for anybody who's doing coaching, anybody who's doing a leadership position. So let me know how that resonates with you. Let me know if that makes sense. Awesome. Yeah, Larry, you said you work on impulsive thought every week with your mastermind group. Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe as coaches, we do so much to open up our channel for that higher power, whatever that is, to flow through in service and value and love. And we do so much to keep that channel open, and we've gone through so much in our journeys for that channel to open. So that's really what I look at it, is like we could go plan to the moon and do all these different things, or we could just let it go and let it flow for the value to show. Right? So that's a key piece, your message of the week. Oh, is somebody going to say something?
I was just going to say that with my mastermind group, I'll plan out a lesson for every week. And then at some point during the week, it seems like something always comes up. And I think, nope, this is what I need to speak on this week. And I'll completely change everything.
Yeah, it's so brilliant to hear you say that. Because, yeah, I've had the same experience with my mastermind group. It's been about 5.5 years now. And yeah, I mean, that's proof right there. I mean, that's so awesome to hear. And yeah, and then so the piece I have here in the parentheses, journey of identity transformation. Now, this is a multiplier. This is a golden nugget. This is a gem. This is powerful. And so shout out to Michael Chu, because I was going through a training with him and I was really seeing the power of identity transformation. I had always known it inherently. It was just different things that I've studied, but I didn't know the structure of how to have that come through. So this is a key piece with message of the week, because a feedback or questions that I got from people is like, well, how do I know that the message of the week will resonate with them? You know, Larry, you had a great example though, but it's like you're tuning into what the community needs, and you're being a vessel for that. Number one. Question people would give me was, well, what if I cover the same content? Or what if a new person comes in and they're coming in fresh, but then the people have been there for years? How do I bridge that gap? Do I have to explain everything that all the others have gone through? Or do I just keep it going and the new person doesn't have the right foundation? So I found the simple answer for that is the journey of identity transformation. So with the webinar I do, that's for teams to do focus and flow state. Helps teams focus and flow state every week. It's called Focus and Flow. Do them on Thursday afternoons. So with that, our identity transformation is from the weary warrior, carrying everything on our back, always saving the day all by ourselves, going from the weary warrior to the happy hero, where it's like the Avengers. We got our superpower, and there's more people involved. Everybody's got their unique genius. Everybody's got their superpower, and we're doing it together as a team. So that identity transformation has been key, because somebody can plug in at any time and feel the connection of what they need most for them. Now, and a person might ask, like, okay, well, what happens when they get to that identity? Well, as a happy hero, there's new levels, there's new adventures, there's new places, bigger team, bigger impact, bigger income. There's always something. And so one of the things I picked up from Michael Chu is that 90 days, there's 3 things to this. Number one, milestone. Milestone happens in, say, 90 days. Okay, so there's a lot of coaching programs, that are focused on that. If you get somebody a milestone, great, they got the win. Okay, they practiced it enough until they got it right. Okay, but what happens after that? They're done. They're done with the program. I'm going to pause right there. The reason why I'm saying this whole journey of identity transformation is because what I've found is that this can keep communities giving value for on and on and on. So this also solves one of the issues in the coaching that I forgot. I didn't even think to put up there. But it's like you have this amazing transformation experience with the client, and then it's done. You as the guide, you as the facilitator, you can see the whole journey of where you can go, but they're like, oh, I got my outcome. Okay, I'm good. So this identity of transformation is the underlying psychology, and it's totally in service of, hey, You're not going to become a Jedi overnight or in 90 days. You're not going to be Harry Potter good with your wand, in 90 days. Like there's multiple years to Hogwarts. And so the coaching industry is desperately missing that right now in this land of 6-week and 90-day programs. So the identity transformation sets it up from the beginning of, oh no, hey, we're going to have incredible value each week. And it's going to, it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. And then also facilitates and fosters the community together, because it's not just transactional, like I'm going to get my milestone and out. It's transformational, of we're going to go on this journey together. So to bring this back, hopefully I'm not jumping around too much, is that the milestones happen, let's say 90 days. The lifestyle number 2 happens in 6 months to 2 years. That's where you get the result so many times that you create a life around you with that. Okay. Identity transformation, the psychology studies show, it's like 4+ years, 3, 4, 5+ years. I would say even more. And that's where you've done it so many times that you just don't get it wrong. That's where you could have everything taken away and you create those results like this because you have become that person. Become that. It's like with the weary warrior. Weary warrior is always strained. The happy hero is like you drop them in a tough place and like, the way you think, the way you operate, the way you put team together, it's different. So let me know in the chat just how that connects with you, of either what things come to mind, or actually, and if you'd like to share on voice, you're welcome to as well. But what's most exciting to you about this segment, message of the week, as well as taking your community on a journey of identity transformation? What's the most exciting thing for you about that? What stood out to you the most from that? What insight stood out to you the most?
Sebastian, I like it in my mastermind group because I like it when it's like, especially when you're on a Zoom call with them, you can see the moment that idea pops in their head, that moment that they like get it.
Yeah.
It's like they take on a different expression. And my group is never ending. It's week after week, year after year, it's never ending. And what I explain to my individuals is that we're not going to gauge this by a few weeks or a few, we're going to go by year. And the question is that if at the next year, if you're in the same situation that you're in this year, then either you're not doing something right or I'm not doing something right. But you can actually see it when people start to get it and they start to transform.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Yeah. And it's like that's missing in the coaching industry right now, of the 6 weeks and the 90 days. It's and that's what I heard from you, Larry. It's just like we're being honest with them. Like, this is development. This happens over years. This happens over time. Okay. So this, what I found, is recorded. That's what people always ask me. Do you record these or do you not? And I say, well, it's a yes and no. So I found that I'd record these, put it on the YouTube channel. Great. So a person missed a week, they could attend it. Or new people, they're checking it out. So it's like, great, marketing for you. I also found too, for me, I don't know if anybody can relate with this, but I've been on a journey of openness. So what I found for myself is that when I was talking with people, I was natural. When I was alone in a room talking to a little dot on my MacBook, there'd kind of be a little extra presentation around, blah, blah, blah. Which is fine if I was like focusing on my SEO company, it doesn't really matter. But if I'm speaking to people where it's like authenticity and trust and like we're going to do this together for a long time, it's a different standard. It's a different standard for openness, authenticity. So that's one of the nice things I found with Message of the Week is creating marketing content that's authentic of you in your zone, you sharing with people. Okay. And so now we'll go to number 2. So this is the group exercise. So this is the coaching breakthrough. And it's really, you can say, you can call it whatever you want. I'll probably call it a few different things, but it's like everybody's getting it's a group exercise where everybody's getting the coaching breakthrough. Okay. And there we go. And this is what we're going to go through today of live, getting more and more clarity on your group exercise that's unique to your method. And this is not recorded because what I found over 5.5 years of the mastermind is, I think it was like maybe year 3, where we realized that when we weren't being recorded, it's like we just kind of relaxed. When we weren't being recorded, it was like we were 2% more open. And that 2% of more openness was like 200% more value. Because we were able to share more openly, which allows us to get feedback for what we truly needed. Instead of just superficial, oh, how's it going? Everything's great. Instead it was like, yeah, I'm really going through this, okay? And that's what I tell people in the Thursday webinar, the Focus and Flow webinar I do is like, we're not gonna record it so you can relax and let go and not have to feel judged, not have this little lingering thought in your mind that you'll be going through a breakthrough, a subconscious clearing, and you'll be sharing what's on your heart, and then somehow it gets leaked to the Twitterverse, and somebody 5 years from now types something up because they were angry with their life and their day, and then tries to cancel you. It's like, no. We're just going to be in this sacred space, almost like coming to a temple, almost coming to a beautiful palace, a beautiful mansion, and this is our space together. So as I'm talking through, I let them know, okay, all right, I'm going to stop the recording now. Which, by the way, goes on the YouTube recorded video. So people who see it, they're like, oh, okay, well, interesting. That what's on that other side of the not recorded content. Okay. So, yeah, and as Michael said, raw communication creates real change. Oh, yeah, wow, that's a powerful sentence right there. Raw communication. Yeah, not perfect, not doctored, not present, not picture perfect. Just being real, human to human. This is where I'm at. This is what I'm going through. Emotions and all. Creates real change, absolutely. So, and these are the things that happen in our one-on-one calls. As coaches, as advisors, as mentors, as facilitators, this happens. It's part of the magic. And their trust, the person able to trust us. So it's like bridging the gap of how do we get that in the group. Okay. And then the third part, the third section, is bringing it all home with the practical action step. Just like we do in our coaching. It's like, all right, boom, we got a breakthrough. Wow, new thoughts, new ideas, new perspective, new way of seeing things. All right, what's the one thing we're going to implement this new change? Where does the rubber meet the road? This is 10 minutes, okay? And with the right question, you can dial it in that time. And the beautiful thing I want to emphasize is if you are an experienced coach, this is already within you. It's already within you. So it's just tweaking it. And let me just check the time here, okay? So, and this is not recorded as well. Okay. So go ahead and just mentally take a snapshot of this. If you need, these are the 3 sections. Keeps it within 1 hour. Okay. All right. Any questions on this before we get into the steps within the group exercise? Any questions? I got my chat up now so I can see them. Okay. Awesome. It's all looking good. Okay. So, let me me just pause here and see if there's anything else on this. Nope. Easy as 1, 2, 3. The right structure. Okay. So, forgot I had this slide. But this is a good one. I mean, so one of the things that I found that helps focus and is being very clear on your ideal client avatar. Okay. Because yeah, if you're trying to, like, it's unlimited impact webinar key with your ideal client, And with your ideal client, there's a ton of people of your ideal client. So that helps you focus, because something that I've run into a problem with myself in my journey is I'd be speaking in a video, or yeah, that's what it was. That's why I wouldn't have a full authenticity on videos, is that I'd be speaking to the video, I'd be speaking exactly to the type of entrepreneurs I'm used to working with, and then I'd crack a joke, or I'd say something, or I'd swear, and then all of a sudden I'd think of my grandma, and I'd see my grandma floating there. And I love my grandma, she's amazing, absolute treasure in my life. Yet it's a different audience. It's a different audience. There's different jokes, there's different cues, there's different language. And so this is so you can be fully open, authentic, and so you can be fully transformational, your ideal client. And the simple thing, just like a power nugget, power hack, like in our mastermind last year, spent a lot of time on your ideal client and different things. And if I could condense like a year into a few sentences, I would say this. It's so easy to think of who your ideal client is and get lost in the sauce of overanalyzing, if you're anything like me. But instead, all you have to do is look backwards. Who are the top 2 clients that you have right now that have gotten the easiest, fastest, best results? And I know you love all your clients. I'm not saying any are better or worse. I'm just saying the top 2 clients that have gotten the easiest results with your method, the fastest results with your method, and the best results with your method. If you just do that and look at the data, saves years. That's what we found in our mastermind, is like, as we would, it's so easy to get into theory. We just always bring it back. No, what's the data? Okay. And the reason why that's important, because those top 2 clients will give you clues of who's the message. And then you can imagine yourself speaking to them. And you're going to crack certain jokes. You're going to say certain things. I also ran into as well is I'd be speaking to cutting edge people, purpose-driven entrepreneurs, cutting edge. They're like boom, 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 well-trained, like in it. And then I would think of like, well, what if a beginner listened to this? And then I'd start thinking of over-explaining, or I get feedback from people. Hey, if somebody's new to things, they're not going to understand what you're saying. I'm like, oh, let me explain this. 20-minute videos. And I realized that's not my market. My market is experienced people who've gone on inner journey. They're spiritual by nature, probably not religious. That's me. I'm spiritual but not religious. They've gone the inner game. They've done the outer game. So they're in sync. And when I say things, I don't need to do a ton of explaining. So that's mine. And so an example of this, your ideal client avatar with the True Freedom software, our whole goal is to help teams work in flow state. But right now, what we're first working on is so precise, is purpose-driven online marketing agencies with remote teams. So precise. And that's directly my experience. That was me with my marketing agency previously in my journey. So I can speak exactly to it. And once we're ready to scale up from there, it's purpose-driven teams. We can see it's like, that's a real lesson I've gotten from Silicon Valley's startups is like, yes, they have a huge moonshot. They want to help all these people. And where are we focusing right now? What is the sub-market that is a starving audience for what we have? All right, so if that makes sense, let me know. And we'll go to the second one. Okay. Your niche of expertise. This really helps as well. And yeah, your niche of expertise. So I'll just do this example. So like with my webinar I do on Thursdays, it's flow state productivity, flow state efficiency for our people's teams. Okay. And So having each of these will just laser target your focus so that a starving audience, and that's one of the things, shout out, I was actually speaking on this in my webinar today, but one of the books that I absolutely love by Alex Hormozy, $100 Million Offers, it just really reiterates to me again the power of speaking to your starving audience. Who's the audience that sees you for your value, that respects your value, that wants your value, that's just waiting for you? Because that's where the prosperity flows, naturally and easily, right? And then the third thing is the 3 pillars of your message. 3 pillars of your message. Okay. And this is what I found too, is like, you know, with people's coaching method, usually there's 5 to 7 steps in our method, right? And we can just like, really there's more, but like we distill it down to 5 to 7 steps. I mean, that's pretty standard with like coaching programs, right? So what I found is like when we're getting to a bigger audience, yes, that can be part of your method, and there's almost like 3 central pillars that it's always centered around. So for mine, you heard me share it before, passion, purpose, prosperity. That's the focus of everything. Everything always comes back to those 3 for me. And for you, it'll be something as well. Okay. So I'm going to take a pause here because part of me gets so excited with sharing all the goods with you. And at the same time, I know there needs to be space for things to digest, marinate, and click in. So let me know what's the top insight that you have from this piece? Could be something you didn't think about before, could be something that you had been thought before, but now it put it top of mind. It's like, oh yeah, let me make sure I don't forget that. Let me make sure I keep focused on that. What was your top insight from this section? So 1, 2, or 3. Which one stood out to you the most? Nice. Yeah, Courtney said 3, the 3 pillars of your message. Yeah, when I felt the 3 pillars, like, again, it just happened naturally. I just feel like it's like a breath of relief. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't have to be everything to everyone, because that's exhausting. It's like, this is my lane. And so, yeah, I love that resonated with you as well. Larry said 2, your niche of expertise. Yeah, so again, so we don't have to be the superhero that's always saving everything all the time for everybody and spread thin. It's like, this is our zone, this is our lane. Like Spider-Man, if you want somebody to climb on walls, hit up Spider-Man. If you want somebody to go into different dimensions and multiverse, hit up Doctor Strange. So with your niche of expertise too, it makes it easy for people to refer us. Because people can categorize, oh, that's how I can refer them. If somebody needs that, I can send them your way. You know, like mine, team, flow state. Boom. Okay. And so now we're going to do some live workshopping on the structure in your sequence. So right here on the left-hand side of those 3 parts of the webinar, 20-minute message a week. Number 2, 30-minute group exercise. Number 3, 10-minute practical action step. All right? So for this group exercise, that's what we're going through right here. And this is what I've just been so excited to share with you, because this is what I've been doing on the one-on-one calls with people. All right? And well, I guess I've been doing all this, but this is just like the secret sauce. I've never seen this anywhere. So we'll go through these step by step. So number 1 is the theme of the week. All right? So as we talked about before, this helps the breakthrough process tremendously. Because for example, one of the weeks that I was talking about your freedom team. And I was talking about the personality profile called Wealth Dynamics, where it shows you the 8 different types of paths of wealth. You can be a mechanic, you can be a star, you can be a deal maker, you can be a creator. There's these different ones. So the topic of that week was bringing up your aligning with your freedom team. And so how you can, like a puzzle, each come together with your unique piece, that boom creates that power together. So that was the theme of the week. So then for me, I was like, all right, now we'll go into the subconscious clearing, which for me is my group exercise. For you, it'll be something different. And let's do a subconscious clearing on the fears that come up with your freedom team. Basically the resistance. So fears of, well, I mean, it's a nice idea, but I'm never going to find my team, you know? I mean, it'd be nice, but I always got to do it myself. You want anything done right, you got to do it yourself, right? You know, that's a limiting belief. That's a fear. Or on the other side could be a fear of, well, who am I to have a team? Are people really going to see my value, my zone of genius? Do I even have that value? It's a fear that gets in our way, as I shared with them. Or past memories. I was on a team like that before, and we were all excited, we were all gung-ho, and we were all starry-eyed, but then something got fucked up. And it hurt. Now I don't talk to those people anymore. That's something we can carry in our subconscious mind that prevents us. Because the fact is, we're a different person than we were then. It's like, and that's what I shared with them. It's like, have you invested in personal development? Have you gone through courses? Like, you've gone through this different change. So now you're ready to sync up with them. So that was the focus of the group exercise, is to clear the resistance, to break through the blocks related to that theme of the week. And so that's with yourself, that's what we found, because it's otherwise like, wow, I have a group exercise and I could do all these different things, but how do I focus it? Well, how do you focus it in the one-on-one call? There's a theme of the week, they have a challenge, you can break through that. So let me know if that makes sense, that you would have a theme of the week, and then based on that theme of the week, there's breakthrough on blocks that come up with that theme of the week. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Okay. Great. So Larry says it makes sense. All right. So I'm going to give you some examples here. And what I invite you to do is to think through this through the lens of your coaching method, which thinking through the lens of simply, if you were one-on-one with somebody, what would you take them through next? And here's an interesting tweak that I found. I found that when people imagine themselves doing a webinar in my group exercise, doesn't work. Get lost in the sauce. So you put that to the side and you say, hey, if you're one-on-one right now with a person and they're talking about the theme of the week, and they're talking to you about the challenge that they have, what do you say to them next? And that's my challenge, that's my invite for you right now. So I'm going to guide you through this all together at the same time, demonstrate the method. So number one, let's start with the theme of the week. Just off the top of the head, if you're looking at your week this week, what would be a topic that you're going through? And again, here's another nuance, is that I found that if we're presenters, we got to always have things to talk at our audience. Or we can just share what we're going through that week. What's the top of mind lesson breakthrough? Like with mine, today, what I've been thinking the last week, but this week specifically, is your starving audience. Who's the audience that's just like so ready for what you have? Zeroing in on that, focusing on that. So as I've been thinking of that for myself, I've naturally been sharing that with others. That was my message of the week, theme of the week, in a nutshell. Okay. Nice. So we'll get some examples here. So go ahead and put your topic that comes to mind for you. And there's no wrong or right answer. This is just building the muscles of this new pathway. Courtney said for her, it's only up from here. I'm not alone. Oof. Yeah, I feel that right in my chest. I feel it right in my heart. Yeah. Larry said, overcoming adversity and defeat. Yeah, absolutely. It's not always going to be W's on the scoreboard. And that's life. That's competition. That's being an athlete. That's everything. So how do we handle that with grace, with integrity, with honor? Regroup, reload, Re-engage. Use a Jocko Willing quote. So what I invite you here is to just think solely in your method, your coaching method, like you're one-on-one right now. So with the message of the week, imagine a client is speaking to you right now, just you one-on-one on Zoom, and they're talking to you about the message of the week. They're talking about like, this was on my mind, and I'm kind of, feeling stuck, or I'm feeling resistance. All right. As they share that with you, what do you say to them next? What do you say to them next? Hey Larry, like I've just had some tough losses this week. Just going through a lot of adversity. What do you say to them next? Courtney, if somebody comes to you and says, I feel like we can just some tough things have happened and it's only up from here. You're not alone, but maybe they say to you, I'm feeling good, but sometimes this old part of me comes back in and says, well, you're with the right people now, but it's not going to last. It's like, it's not true. The client's telling you, it's like, I know it's not true, but I just still have that part of me. I wish I could just break through that part. What do you say to them next to guide them in the coaching? And if you're open to it, let me know in the chat what you would say to them. It doesn't have to be perfect. Again, it's just to be building the blocks. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Yeah, so Courtney shared. So let me hold space for you in this moment. And if you don't mind, let me share how we might relate. Yeah, let's connect to it. Let's bring awareness. So ultimately, with our coaching, we're bringing awareness to things that we're not aware of. So everything we do is like lighting I see it as like shining a light more and more, and then guiding them to the next step. So interesting with yours, Courtney, that's kind of what I was having this example is like, what comes up for you? Basically in your own way, and this is just the most simplest way, but it's like you're bringing awareness to them so you can hear them in their faith and in their words. Larry, for the adversity and defeat, it's hearing, okay, what did that look like? And they're putting it out there. This is part of the process. They're saying it, they're verbalizing, because sometimes we keep it all in here, and it's just so much, and then we can't sleep at night. So part of the process is speaking it out. That alone, as we know, helps people. Okay. Here's an example of bringing awareness to it. Again, these are just examples. So a person shares, this is what I was going through. This is what happened in my week, friends, family, business, team. For my part, I say, where do you feel it in your body? Where's that tension in your body? That's for the subconscious clearing, because the body is the reflection of the subconscious mind. So, but really, where is like, let's bring more awareness to us. Where's that showing up in your life? Right? And again, your own way of saying it as an example. So if you were one-on-one, and so you have this client and you're curious, you're like, okay, I see this. They're going through like, adversity right now. And you want to know, so you can help with the coaching. All right, is this business? Is this relationship, friendship, family? A mix of all three. Getting clarity on that. Okay. So what would you ask them to get clarity on where this block, where this issue is showing up in their life? How would you ask that? Let me know in the chat so I know that you're connected here. And of Courtney says do a meditation and ask them what comes up. Yeah, it's great. It's like giving them a relaxed place. You're like, oh, like, okay, it's coming up. And something I want to share here is that I believe every experienced coach for their group exercise has a series of 5 to 10 questions. That's really the key here. I believe every experienced coach, that group exercise, the magic secret sauce there is distilling it down into 5 to 10 questions that you can always ask. Right? So here's another example of, all right, now we know where it's showing it up. When does this pattern show up? Like, is this the first time you've ever felt this? Or is this, is this an ongoing deal that's come up? Or does this happen, say every year, every couple years, or every time you get to a certain growth point? These are all things that naturally come up that we do as coaches, as facilitators, intuitively in the moment, right? So it's just bringing clarity to that, taking a step back and saying, oh, what do you ask? What's the one question? We know, like a wise old mentor, they just ask a question. Breakthroughs start happening. And as we know, as experienced coaches know, it's like, it's not about what we say. It's about the space we hold and the questions. Because if we tell somebody to do something, okay, that's one thing. Certain people will buy into that, depending on how much money they paid and the credibility and the stuff. It's infinitely more powerful to provide the door. The person says, you know what? I think I'm going to do this. It's their choice. So let me know, how do you ask the client when you're one-on-one with the client? You're like, I wonder, I think this might have been an ongoing deal. Or maybe they're a new client and you're asking them, is this the first time you've felt this type of adversity? Or is this the first time you've felt this kind of pattern of being alone or being with the right people and feeling like it's going to go away? Here's another example one. And this is all go in sequence too, by the way. So, who does this pattern remind you of? It's kind of a fun one sometimes. So it's like, oh man, this reminds me of my dad, or oh man, this reminds me of my aunt or my mom or whatever. And it's like, oh, pattern's not even mine. Like I don't have to carry out their pattern. And another example here is how. So how is this pattern holding you back? How is this pattern holding you back? And again, it's very similar to what we've asked before, but it's a different way. Okay, well, it's holding me back with my business. It really should be at XYZ, but it keeps being back at ABC. Or my relationship should be a certain way. Or my team. Okay, so again, it's bringing awareness to exactly what's happening. Because as we're, it's just life. Sometimes we can feel pulled in so many directions. Part of the coaching is having the space to focus and lay it all out. Right. An example is new perspective. Okay, so this could be a new tool, could be a new perspective, could be a shift. So how can you move forward with this new understanding? And the thing that I want to emphasize here, or just, emphasize, is that all of this is happening live with the people, and they're letting you know in the comments, each one. So in a coaching one-on-one call, they're going to speak to you, of course, and share with you. In the Unlimited Impact webinar, you're getting comment feedback from them. And that also allows you to riff and flow, allows you to flow and to speak to certain things. And even if there's a lot of comments, you pick out the ones that you feel guided to speak to. And you see patterns of like, oh, okay, well, this certain thing's coming up. And you go and you flow to what is happening. It's very interactive while keeping it on time. So for example, like how is this pattern holding you back? And again, this all goes back to the theme of the week, the message of the week. Because if there wasn't a message of the week, this is just, oh man, there's just so much going on. But the message of the week is, how is this pattern holding you back? You know, for me, like I think of today, so the message of the week was really serving your starving audience. And one of the subconscious clearing things that came up for me was fear of love. Subconscious was holding myself back from fully focusing on the starving audience because there was a fear of love there. Receiving love from people who are like, wow, this is exactly what I wanted. So why I share that is, as I was seeing people's comments through, I'd speak to certain new understandings, certain breakthroughs, certain concepts that I was having on that message of the week. And that allows you to deliver that impact in the moment. So then when it comes to number 7, it's like, oh, okay, so how can we move forward with this new understanding? And the last thing is bringing it all together. All right, the action step. What's the one thing you can do next week to implement this new understanding? You know, to use this example from today, it's like people are focusing on their starving audience. It's like, okay, out of all the people I could reach out to or all the things that I could do, it's like, narrowed the focus to exactly it. Which for me in this super specific case, for the True Freedom team software, is purpose-driven marketing agencies with a remote team. Like, I've gotten the feedback from them. They're definitely starving for the solution. And I can speak to them because that's my journey through and through. So go ahead and take a look at this and see how this all comes together as a starting point. And let me know how this connects with you, because again, the whole goal with this is to tweak this for your coaching method so that you have 5 to 10 questions that are the same every week. The message of the week is different, which always makes it new, fresh, relevant, and connected to your community. And then the coaching questions follow that pattern. So let me know in the chat, or if you want to share through voice, what's the number one insight you have on this structure? Or if you have a question on it. I'll share some examples here too. So for my breakthrough mechanism, subconscious clearing. For others, it's an exercise that they tend to do with people. For others, it's a way of going inner, and then they go outer. So Courtney had a question. Do you have a way to get someone to engage that might not want to talk? Yeah, so then this is a... So yes, so the more people it is, the more it helps because then there's comments that fill in the gaps, number 1. And number 2, it's recentering back to what you already do in one-on-one coaching. And that's the thing that for myself and for others, always remind ourselves, you're already doing this in the one-on-one coaching. You already have it within you. And just like my example of how I changed when I would film a video that I was going to blast on the internet, it's bringing it back to what do you already do when someone's one-on-one coaching with you. a little shy to engage. What do? I know what I do. I think, okay, what's the most vulnerable thing I can share right now that's relevant? And the more it stings, the more it opens up the space of trust. So the more that you do that in the beginning, the more it creates that open of trust. And like I shared too, as I shared in this webinar, I do not come here as a perfect person. I do not come as a person with all the answers. I come as a fellow comrade on the journey as well, sharing some new stuff that just unfolded. Yeah, so being transparent with our stories and humility, Courtney says. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, as a wise man was just telling me this week, he's like, yeah, share what hurts as soon as possible. Because that's trust. Now, if we're on the Twitterverse and we're, exposed to all cancel culture, whatever, probably not the move. Maybe it is, but there's different levels of this. But this is your space. This is your bubble of transformation. And what I did with that is I gave people a month free. And what I found out was that people came the first month and like, oh, that was interesting. I feel much different. I came stressed, anxious, feeling burdened, and now I feel clear and calm and peaceful and focused. That's weird. And then they go on their week. And I found that week 2 was when it just really settled in. Because then they come back and they'd be like, my week was different. And then they go through the experience again, like, wow, I feel great again. And then they were just like, I'm in. Like this is good. This is something that I get recentered each week, recharged each week, breakthrough transformation each week. This is great. Okay. So, yeah, let me know if there are any questions on this. Let me check the time. Okay, we're at 75. Does it feel exciting to you? Does it feel expansive that, hey, perhaps with a little tweaking, your group, your community could go through this? Awesome. Larry says yes. Absolutely. And one little thing with this too is I use the voice feedback sparingly, or I mean just tactfully. So it's like an intuitive thing. And it's really the size of the community, because sometimes you might feel called to get a share from somebody that you know is brief and focused. Other times, what I find is it helps us to write things out, because then we can clarify our thoughts and we can see it. So part of the breakthrough there as well. And yeah, I've just had times for myself where I'll just talk it out, and it just takes so much time. And maybe I was talking to my girlfriend, and God bless her for listening to me at certain points when I'm just like, there's something in here and I just need to talk it out. She's like, all right, what is it? And so there's times like that, and then it just gets distilled. Or sometimes I need to go on a walk and then I type it out, and then it's clear. So there is such magic process too with typing it out. And Courtney says, I now know the tools for your toolbox. Thank you. She says, I now know my tools for my toolbox. Thank you. Wonderful. Exactly. So that's the goal with this. And so your unique method gets to shine. All right. So this is what we covered today. And so far, we did the 3 problems with growing our coaching, 3 solutions with the Unlimited Impact webinar. And we dove into the nuts and bolts of the 1-hour Unlimited Impact webinar structure, role playing, going through a one-on-one client with yourself. So what you already know, what you've already done flows through in a simplified way. And by the way, with some people I've guided this through, sometimes their questions started off as like 15 questions. I think 15, 17 questions, just bullet point by bullet point. And then the second pass around, they got distilled into the 5 to 10. Okay, so it can happen in layers. So feel free to write it down, sleep on it, come back to it. Right? And so now we'll go into the partner program. And then at the end, we'll have bonus Q&A time where we can dive into any questions you have. So the partner program is working together to launch your webinar business so you can share your message to millions. And my whole goal with this webinar workshop was to give you the actual nuts and bolts that you can take this off in your coaching, all on your own if you want. Or if you want the systems so you can be the star, share your message and shine, then that's an option as well. And I am fine with either way because the world needs this. The world needs this. So the partner program is focused on setting up the systems so that you can show up and be the star, share your wisdom, share your experience, speak to the audience that's hungry for what you already know in that 1 hour a week to make unlimited income, and have the tech and support systems set up and managed for you. So doing it alone, these are some things that just came to mind of things that come together when we're creating our own coaching. And number one, it's our membership site for clients. It's on the low end, custom, personalized, 5K to 15K, depending on how many bells and whistles. Sales funnel, 5K to 50K plus. And, at the 50K plus range, people are having a percentage on that. Team, 0.5K to 10K a month, depending on the team, depending on the size. So the low annual years here as well. And let's see here, there we go. That's the annual. Software fees, adding up, of running everything when it comes to community accountability, community tracking results, community gamification. Paid ads. These are all things that the system is set up to help solve. Oh, here, I'll just put this up right here. So as we're going through each of these, that's really what this was born from, because again, this was born from mastermind members being like, hey, I want my webinar business. Can you set up the system? And I was like, well, let's see. And I was like, well, I do like focusing on the system, so that's good. And they're like, you know what would be even better? I was like, what's that? Like, if we could do this on the True Freedom platform. I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, because then if there's a webinar marketplace of leaders, then we all pull traffic together. And what's the odds? If each of us have a scalable webinar, we don't have to charge an arm and a leg for a monthly membership. Whether it's $250 a month, $25 a month, whatever it is, like even at the lowest end, $25 a month, you have 1,000 people in it, it's 25 grand a month. If you have 10,000 in, it's 250 grand a month. That 1 hour unlimited impact webinar a week. So these are just some of the thoughts, and I really believe in it's up to each coach, to create their own community however they want with whatever they want. But that's what the people started telling me. They're like, yeah. So if let's just say on the lowest end of the spectrum, there's a $25 a month membership, and they're like, well, what's the odds that someone will come for somebody's audience, see another webinar creator, and say, oh, I want to sign up for that one. Even at $25 a month, you could have 4 subscriptions happening for just $100. So I started to see how wow, this is changing breakthroughs, because usually breakthroughs come at a price of that one-on-one, price of that high-ticket mastermind. And now it's like, wow, breakthroughs can happen in this scalable format. And so they become a lot cheaper, become more accessible. So it opens up to a community of people that would not have been able to experience it before. So that's what this is focused on. And we take a look at the YouTube automation, together these systems, online course building, all these things together, tracking and growing students' results. Funny things that just kind of naturally happen too is I've been building this with my team to help teams work in flow state and get results and be accountable and focused on the things that actually matter, so they can relax and have peaceful progress. And then as I've been sharing that with coaches are like, I want that for my community. When can I get a demo? That would be great. So all this comes together, plus the personal time managing all the above with at least, let's just say 10 hours a week. Let's just say at $100 an hour, maybe charge more. It's $4 grand worth of your time, worth of our time. It's 48 grand a year. So I saw the low end of this and the high end of this, low end 122 grand a year. Well, let's just, of these numbers together. Some are annual, some are one-time fees. And then on the high end, like 393 grand plus. So average investment altogether coming in at 257 grand. So that's what is exciting to me, is like, wow, okay, what if we could weave this together? And it's synergistic, because everybody who comes to the team software is getting exposed to the webinar marketplace, and they get that value. And the same side of the coin, all the webinar creators getting access to the team that are tuning in every week, daily. And as we make it more and more feature rich, it becomes more and more part of their work day. So the link I have below is to schedule a conversation. So if this looks like it's something interesting to you, we can have a conversation. And the reason why I say a conversation is because there's nothing to buy on that call. There's nothing to buy. And there's a reason for that. Because it's a voting process. We have a webinar marketplace council of people that are working on growing the webinar as well. And it's a voting process of like, okay, does this coach, does this creator align together? Are we on the same page? So what we have right now, we have people signed up right now, is that it's $5K to $15K to launch for having the system set up through. And this is also a group style support program, so that you can get clear on your webinar format, have the slides created for you, have it speak to your audience. Everything that we talk through here is done with you, so that it's clear, so you can plug into it, be the star and shine, and know that's a system that's proven, solid, works, and that is constantly being innovated and tweaked and refined and improved. So if you want to have a conversation on that, that's the link. It'll go to my calendar. I'm heading to Seattle next week. So I have this Monday this Friday, tomorrow, open, and Monday open. So I'll give you a bunch of times from there. And let's see here. So the three things that I got from people is this is what they asked for, which again is really interesting. It wasn't like I was like scheming alone in a room somewhere. It's just like people were asking for this. They're like, okay, traffic. So they're like, exclusive exposure to True Freedom users. They saw the vision. And interesting, Courtney says, you live in Seattle. Nice. So this would be like my first true time. I was there in Portland once upon a time for a nice weekend. This would be my first time to see the city, which should be cool. So yeah, with the traffic, oh yeah. So there's been overwhelming interest with the software for teams working in flow state. And I feel like I've figured out how to manage it all recently, in like the last couple of weeks, but for 2 to 3 months it was pretty overwhelming, because there's people that want to sell it, they want it for their teams. One of the people that I know is a top exec in VMware. So VMware has 34,000 employees. She was at Microsoft for a period of time. She was like 7 years away from retirement, and VMware paid her enough to switch companies 7 years away from retirement. So paid a bunch. And as we were talking through, the software solved the problems that she encountered in corporate, which is interesting to me because I don't come from the corporate world. Never had a regular job. I umpired and refereed till 19, started my business. 11 years later, here we are. So once it's ready, she wants to do a program trial, or a 9-day case study, and then expand from there. Another thing is one of the key investors in Grant Cardone's company, 10X Incubator, got wind of this and they're like, I want the whole incubator on this, and I want the incubator plus their companies that they're incubating on this. I want all their teams on this. They need this. And so the Grant Cardone's 10X Incubator, their goal is to launch 10,000 startups by 2030. Crazy. And that's just like the tip of the iceberg of like interest and demand and excitement for the team software. So we're really ready to grow step by step and take over. And so each of those users gets exposed to the webinar marketplace. Second thing is delivery. So smoothing out the process of delivering all in one system to transform lives on autopilot. Okay. So when it comes to the membership site, it's covered. When it comes to having your own basically Facebook group without the bullshit in there, the community features, the gamification features, those are built in there. The webinar built in, the email sequences, the tagging, the landing pages, all those things. And we can chat more on the call too to go through those, but it's just like all those things put together with your name, your branding, your method, your style. It's bringing it in. And number 3 is the results. So using the team software to facilitate results for your community. So community accountability, gamification software to increase student success. That's another one. Communities are already wanting to use this, and they're lining up like, hey, if we have a group coaching call, let's have them focus on their one thing for the week. And what if they could track their one thing? What if we as community leaders could see everybody's one thing? So instead of messaging or seeing in Slack or sifting through messages, we're just like, boom, we have a dashboard. See what everybody's focused on. See a leaderboard of who's accomplished their one thing for the week. Maybe it's Thursday and 80% of the people have accomplished it, 20% haven't. Simple. Let me message the 20% that haven't and see if they need some support. Okay. So all these things coming together so that the system supports the creator to launch their webinar and have the system set up. And so right now with where we're at, and again, it's just like managing the interest and demand, is 4 of 7 spots have already been claimed. And these are just like, friends close to me, people, mastermind members that have just said, hey, I want that. And so 3 seats remain. I don't know when we're going to open up another spots. I just don't, because it's managing, launching these 7 creators as well as the team software that we're rolling out, as well as the communities as well. So yeah, like one of the people that's coming to the platform, their LinkedIn presence, they have 28,000 contacts on LinkedIn. So bringing a ton of energy. One of the other people runs a school, like an online school. Just so many connections, so many things. She's taught in professors, taught in universities. She has a very interesting corporate career. She's like this sweet old lady who's kind of unassuming, and then she's like, oh, by the way, I help all these nonprofits get grants. And so she's gonna be launching her courses, her community, her webinars on the platform. So I believe in collaboration, not competition. So the whole goal with this is how do we come together? Because that mission with free 1 billion people by 2050, I can't do it alone. Can't do it alone, not even close. And as I've been finding is that I've been finding the people that feel the same way. Not because I told them that's the mission. They already had that mission inside. Maybe the words were there, maybe not, but that was there. And now they're like, oh, that's your mission. You feel connected to that mission too? It's like, yeah. There's a group of us that are connected to this mission just in our DNA. So it's like, let's link up, let's collaborate rather than compete, and let's synergize together. Because even if we all had the same message, which we don't, I feel like people need to hear it from different people. And sometimes people will only listen to a certain people. Like I was sharing, I lost everything when my first company collapsed. And completely lost everything, thought of ending my life. And in that moment, that's where I discovered my purpose, which was service. Service on a big scale. And as I was there, it led me on a spiritual journey. Going to the soul contract with my mentor, Nicholas David Nin, going to the subconscious clearing. And at that age, I was talking about like spiritual, principles, deep things. But I was 23, I was 24 with no beard. So I feel like people are like, yeah, whatever, what do you know? punk. I mean, that's how I felt. Maybe that was just my own limiting beliefs and stuff. That's how I felt. I was just like, man, I can't get no respect. Like Rodney Dangerfield back in the day. I was like, man. So the reason why I say that is like, maybe it was a similar message, but they need to hear it from somebody in their 50s or somebody who looked like them or somebody who was going through a certain experience. Maybe a person who had a family. That's some of the things I get. Well, like, yeah, I mean, it's like, well, you can say that, but wait till you have kids. Wait till you have kids. You know, it's like, which is true, but also there's like these hurdles to get over. So I believe each of us, if we're going to reach this, we have a special message. There's certain people that are just going to resonate with it. Certain people are not. And then also we have different nuances to our messages. So the creators in the partner program are voted in by the True Freedom Webinar Marketplace Council. And that's why I said there's nothing to buy on the call that we have. It's a conversation. So I'll walk you through the application process. And we'll just talk through just like we're having a conversation. And my thing is to communicate the resonance. Because the Webinar Marketplace Council, that's the second layer here. As I was doing this, there was people who are like, holy crap, this is a massive opportunity. Because there's people that want to create scalable, they want to create unlimited impact. They want their income to go up and their impact to go up. And they're sick of working at a corporate job that sucks their life out. Or they were in a business that they realized during COVID, they're like, this isn't what I want to do. Do I want to do this? Is this really what I'm here to do? So the people, they saw it before me. They saw, one of them was a deal maker in the Wealth Dynamics profile. So he's like, this is the wave. If you can position the system that helps them and guides them through, you'll have people lining up. And so I was like, well, I'm so focused on the team software that like, I don't want to build a webinar marketplace by myself. So I shared it with key others, and they've come together to help grow the webinar marketplace as a whole, bring more opportunities, more traffic, more success. And these are the things that we always ask ourselves. Like, these are our core values. Core values. That's the mission, that's the vision, core values. Are we purpose-driven? Because if we're not, like, there's not, make XYZ amount of money here. There's not profit ABC here. It's free 1 billion people. It's like, how do we do that? Obviously, it's got to be self-sustaining. But like, that's the guiding light. And that was a big thing from my mentor, the one I said with the soul contract. He said, you can evaluate your plans based on your ROI, or you can do it based on your return on impact. Return on income versus return on impact. And that just blew my world. I mean, that was earlier this year, because then I started seeing, I'd always ask myself that, what is the best service to free 1 billion people by 2050? And what I've been finding is that it's slight shifts. It's surprising to me, it's slight shifts that just, boom. And it's more efficient, it's more power, and people feel it as well. So are we purpose-driven every moment? Are we innovating? This is not me. I'm not a person that's just going to take something and it's, for better or worse, I'm always innovating. For better or worse. Sometimes it gets in my way because we don't always, there's just a time and place. But always being the cutting edge. Number 3, are we giving? Is there a generosity, a spirit of flowing? And are we laughing? So I spent too much of my life being too goddamn serious. And that's all I knew. I thought that was the way. But when we're laughing, having a good time, doing what we love to do. And then 5th is, are we playing to win? So that's the mission. It's binary. We will either hit it by that time or we will not. So let's play to win. And win doesn't mean like us versus them. Win doesn't me versus you. Win is, that's the mission, that's the goal. Let's do this. So that's what we have here. And so the qualities that are most likely to be accepted are the following. And so, surprise, surprise, you're a purpose-driven entrepreneur. I'm like a broken record with that because, again, it's everything. Tend to be, you've been a full-time business owner for 5+ years. So you have the experience. Business generates at least $100,000 a year. So you have that stability that's clicked in, at least to that level. And you spent 5+ years deeply connecting your spirituality, whichever that means to you. Whatever that inner game is, whatever that looks like to you, that inner journey of, all right, what's going on in here and how am I connected to something greater? I don't get hung up on labels. I don't get hung up on labels. But whatever that is, inner journey connected to something greater. And your clients love the results and rave about working with you. Got to be a track record. Someday, years in the future, I believe we'll have the system built up and so streamlined that like a newer person can come onto the scene and just boom, 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 and it's gamified and fun every step of the way. We're not there yet. That's like a year and a half down the road plus. This is for the early adopters that are innovative, future thinking, and they're like, whoa, this is where the market's going. I want to be part of the first so I can get the benefits of being first to the party. And yeah, you have a mission to change the world with your innovative, purpose-driven service. Big thinkers. Big thinkers are welcome. So these aren't all like across the board need to be there, but that's why I say is like the following qualities are most likely to be accepted. So the more of these, the more it goes in somebody's favor. And if there isn't one there, let's have a conversation about it. Let's talk about it. Let's see. So yeah, if you do want to have a conversation, we'll walk through this application, talk through what would be the most service for you. What would be your ideal scenario where you can be the star and just show up and shine? What would that look like for you? What would true freedom look like for you in this environment? And how can we collaborate rather than compete? How can we collaborate rather than, oh yeah, and one of the other things too is like, when I first launched my mastermind, I had been taught to run them like this, like a triangle, like a pyramid. Where there's one person at the top and everybody else is lucky to be there. That's the way I was taught. That was a model. When I launched the mastermind, it was always the spirit of camaraderie. It started as a men's brotherhood. It shifted down to men and women. But it was always at odds. And it took years to like let go of those certain things into the council. The council is we're all at the round table together. So that's how I view this too, is we're collaborating as equals. We each have a different piece, and we're better together. So if you'd like to have a conversation on that, you can go ahead and click the link below. And yeah, just what I have here is just over the years, I mean, endorsements have stacked up. Working together, experiencing this together, going on this version of purpose, passion, profit. I mean, I have tons of testimonials for like the what we put into the team software. But without getting into them right now, it's that's what it is the mission, the vision, the focus, and then building a system. And that's really with my, I don't know, just experience. I mean, being focused on the system allowed me to go from 100 hours to 1 hour a week in the agency business. It allowed me to create up the passive income systems. And I've always been wondering of like, how can I merge the leveraged income, the passive income for my friends, close allies. And now it's like, oh, this is a way it can by focusing on the system. So that's what I've got here for today. So I'll just, that'll be complete for our segment today. If you need to hop off, you're welcome to. Otherwise, if you have questions on the partner program, questions on the webinar structure, questions on anything, I'll keep it open here. Awesome. Harry says thank you. Absolutely. And yeah, great hearing from you. And I'm so excited. It's so cool that you already have this mastermind that's established. And it almost feels like so many of these pieces are in place, which is really cool. Like with the mastermind. Yeah. Courtney says thank you so much. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. believe that's everything. Any other thoughts, questions, comments? That's all I've got for today. All right. Well, I believe that's everything. So let's see here. Yeah, last final call for any questions, thoughts, or comments. Let's see here. I think that's it. Unlimited Impact webinar. Let's go blow it up together. Share your message, help lives, have your freedom, and grow your income, grow your impact. Let's do it. Let's go. All right, everybody. We'll have a wonderful night. Thank you for sharing here. I had a great time, and see you soon.
Thank you so much. Bye. Have a good night.
Oh, absolutely. Take care, Courtney.
Bye.